There we go. Hello everyone, a very good evening and welcome to the week 2 official alpha update. We are live. So sorry there were a few technical hiccups there with that recording. It was a recording from earlier in the week, a lap around Dolphins Island with the one and only Garnet. With a special guest appearance from Kira, no less. Hope you enjoyed that. We've got another little snippet of a video right at the end of the stream as well, so stay tuned for that. So amazing to see so many of you here once again for this update. Absolutely incredible turnout. Thank you so much for turning up. A little bit of housekeeping before we get straight into it. For all my channel regulars, all these sound alerts are now off. All the on-screen emojis are now off. And please do not redeem any channel points because we will just refund you at the end of the stream. Anyone who follows or subscribes, we will give you your shout out at the end of the stream as well, just so everything's nice and clean and we can just get straight into it. So coming up in the next half an hour to 45 minutes, we will be talking with the one and only Lazy Penguin. We've got a few questions to ask him, and he has also said that we can also ask him questions too. So that's coming up in a few moments time. We're going to do a 10-minute playthrough after the questions. More about that later. It's definitely going to need some viewer involvement for sure. Guys, are you ready? Let's go. Right, here we go then. Mr. Penguin, unmute yourself. They can see you. Hello, hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Harry.
How you doing? How you doing?
Good. I'm doing well. How are you?
I am awesome, and it's really nice to see you again, bro.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, I've got 3 questions of my own to ask you first. Then we have some questions that viewers asked over the week during the alpha testing that I didn't know answers to, so we'll get those asked. And then we will open it up to the viewers at large. How does that sound to you?
Sounds like a great plan.
Perfect. Okay, let's get straight into it. Question number 1. How do you think the first week of alpha has gone now that we've gone through a whole entire week?
It's gone pretty well, I think. Our main, goal was to test our infrastructure and see about getting players connected and all that. And we had 5 alpha testers plus our community managers and our team, and it went pretty well. There was only one kind of major server crashing bug that we've already fixed. But it was nice to watch everyone streaming and giving us all the feedback. We've had a ton of feedback already just from our first 5 testers, and it's been going great.
Yeah, I tell you what, I've absolutely enjoyed streaming Rose over this past week. Talk about nostalgia. Amazing. Alrighty, question number 2. So as you just mentioned, there's been lots of feedback, lots of changes already during the first week. What changes have exactly been implemented during this first week?
Oh, it's a lot. We got a lot of with the quests. Most of the testers are doing the quests, so there's a lot of bug fixes with quests. A lot of little spelling mistakes, quest indicators not working, things like that. That was a big effort on mostly Garnet because our tooling is not so great. Let me just pull up our little notes we take for our alpha testers so they know what's coming up. I think the main big changes we made this week were previously you would get 250 skill points at max level. We've dropped that to 220. We felt that at 250 you could just get all the skills you wanted and you didn't really have to make any sacrifices, so we're experimenting with 220 skill points. We've also heard from the community that people enjoyed the skill builds or the skill tree builds better at that when the max level was 220, 230. So we're trying to see if that has an impact. We noticed that low level players were pretty strong because they were getting a lot of skill points at lower levels. So we've changed the skill bands. So for example, from level 11 to 30, you'll only get 1 point per level, and then from 31 to 50, you'll get 2 points, and et cetera, until you get to a total 20 points. Or 220 points. So we're testing that out. That's a major one. Another major change I think people would be interested in is we brought back some buffs to the Muse class. the MP up buff, the magic resistant buff, and the enhanced damage buff. So we put those on the skill tree. We try to kind of put them in places that really only a cleric would get the prerequisites. Like, for example, the enhanced damage buff is at the end of the healing tree, for example, on the support page, stuff like that. So we want to see how that plays out. And then we've made a ton of just other fixes and changes, improving like the window resizing. Like you can now play maximized, full screen doesn't crash anymore. Fix a lot of like bugs reported by our testers related. Like there was one with the storage and Zuli, and updated our loading screens and a bunch of other little ones that I could spend our whole time here just reading through our patch notes, but those are kind of the high level changes this past week that we want to test and experiment with.
Amazing. And it has only been 1 week and you've already made all of these changes. I have to say, the one I like most is the fact that the Zuli doesn't disappear anymore. Because I was trying to hoard Zuli in storage to go refining. Everyone knows how crazy I am with refining. And each time I logged in, it was like, where's it gone? So I'm super happy that one's back. Okay.
The one I forgot to mention was we reduced the second job quest to level 50, which you had some trouble with this morning.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was you playing tricks on me.
Still working out through the bugs. That's why it's alpha, but you know, we're experimenting and testing things.
Yes, sir. Okay, so the last one officially from me is, what are we likely to see in the week ahead?
Well, I've reached out to 5 more people for to expand our testing team. Now we're gonna start really, our infrastructure is decent. We want to test some group things. We want to test some group play. We noticed that like the streamers generally were all kind of soloing, so we want to start seeing if people will party up, house leveling when you group up, that sort of thing. One thing we've been working on is the skill stacking bug. We've added some more fixes for that. There was one with like you can cast a dance scroll and skill stack and stuff like that. So we've added more fixes on that side. So we're gonna ask our testers to keep testing on the skill stacking. Yeah, and we lowered some of the requirements on game arenas like Crystal Defenders. I think we want to start taking a look at some of the PvP games, see how we can rescale like the crystals there, make it more manageable for like the level squish. So those are kind of the items we're working on. And then of course we have an enormous list of technical stuff in the back end to make all of this happen. So
sounds absolutely fabulous, and I can't wait to stand here 1 week from today and to find out what's coming next. It's so exciting. Amazing, and the reaction from the chat is really positive as well, which is great. Lots of people posting epic and woohoo and all sorts of positive comments. It's great. So let's move on to some questions that I've had in the past week that I personally haven't been able to answer, and I thought, you know what, let's wait till Tuesday, let's ask the man himself. So the first 2 questions actually come from Winnie the Noob, and they are, is there any way to check your in-game ping, and can we shift click items into storage?
Good questions. Actually, I'm not sure about storage. We didn't test that yet, but I'll test and take a look. If you can do it right now, we'll definitely make it so you can shift click into storage. And for the ping, right now, there is not a way to test latency. The servers will be hosted East Coast, US. We felt that was probably a good place for most people, you know, for our European players, and hopefully it won't be too bad for anybody connecting from, you know, Asia somewhere, Southeast Asia or something like that, and it's decent for our North American players. So that's kind of what we settled on for now, and hopefully that's good enough latency for most people. One thing we mentioned in the past, we just haven't gotten to that yet, is that we want to help solve the latency problem. We'll set up some proxy or relay servers in the future. For people who might not have the strongest home connections, we can at least, you know, get a proxy server on a good backbone and help on that side.
Sounds great. Next question comes from Thistro, and he says, can you still use crystals to turn them into grade 1 gems?
I believe so. I don't know that formula that well. I'm pretty sure you can, yeah.
Great. GM Carol is next. Let's see. I'll read the whole thing. At some moment, Lazy commented that he would change the font of chat/buttons, etc., and review the game screen layout. Has he given any information of when he intends to implement this?
Yeah, funnily enough, that's one of the things on the team that I'm personally working on. We want to replace the entire user interface system in Rose, and that's one of the benefits is that we'd be able to replace like the fonts, the text, and things like that. So that's in progress. On a technical level, it's a little complicated, so I don't know when we'll complete that, but the main thing is it'll allow better like rescaling of the window for people who play on 4K monitors, stuff like that. That should help solve that problem.
Sounds good. Okay, next one is a question very close to my heart from Sir Aaron, and he asks, have there been any adjustments to the refining system yet?
No, not yet, but we're actually looking at the failure rate. It seems without the pay-to-win boosters, it's really quite brutal to refine stuff. Harry, we've been watching you on stream and taking notes, and that's why I was dropping you money today, just so we could see people's experience. And we haven't made any changes, but it's on our list to evaluate.
Hey man, I was very grateful for that 2 million extra Zuli that I got this afternoon. Right, the next 4 questions are all from Daktari, who's been incredibly active in streams across all streamers, actually. So I'll just read them out one by one. So the first one is, does the level 50 party still give you an EXP boost?
I believe it does. We're taking a look at parties in general, parties and groups and things like that. So it might change, but as of now, I believe it does, yeah.
Nice one. Next one is, are factions staying in the game?
Yeah, we removed the honor and valor shops. I think our preference is to see about bringing back, the unions. I think that's kind of better fit for the lore of the game, but I'm not sure if that would be like an alpha thing or if that would be later in development.
Perfect. So we know from the frequently asked questions that each server is generally going to hold around 4,000 people. The next question is sort of based on that. Are you looking to have 3 channels back in the game like the old times, or are you just going to have just the one channel and then just see how it goes?
Yeah, we would definitely start off with the one channel. It's just easier for us maintenance. I think it helps keep the community together. Obviously, if we're very successful on launch and we have, too many players for one channel, then of course we'd bring back multiple. But it'll be based on the demand, less just doing it from the get-go.
And the final question from Daktari is something I think was derived from one of my streams earlier this week when I was actually leveling a visitor past 10. I got to level 26 in the end. And the question was, can you actually still do the cat quest as a visitor?
I don't think there's a job restriction on the car quest. And yeah, we've been talking about visitors, and I'm amazed that you got to level 26. That's quite impressive.
I'll tell you what, I was beginning to feel the grind at level 26, but I'm going to keep on going because you inadvertently promised me a little something if I got up to level 100. You may remember I was in Forest of Wisdom, you were there, Gannet was there, you were mounted, and I said something, and then you said, level 100, Harry.
So I don't know. Maybe you'll get a little gift at 100. We'll see.
I doubt I'll ever get there, to be honest, but I'm going to persevere, bro. I'm going to persevere. Okay, let's open it up to the chat for the next 10-15 minutes. Guys, if you have a question, please can you write question in capital letters so I can see it easily, and I will try and ask as many of your questions as I can. I do apologize if I miss any questions. The chat is going incredibly fast and we do have a very limited time here this evening, so yeah, just start your question with the word question so I can easily see. Captain Mix, thank you for enabling slow mode as well. I think that will be incredibly helpful. So the first question I can see here is from Vexoy. Surprise, surprise. Well done, Vexoy, getting in there first. How is in-game toxicity going to be addressed?
Yeah, I think we want this to be a community social game. And so in the past, I think, the game was a little bit less moderated, and that sort of thing. In the future, we would want to have more moderation, just to prevent kind of the negative emotions and drama and stuff in game. Obviously, not with a heavy hand. So our I kind of ideal scenario is that we have a nice big group of trusted in-game moderators who know how to handle those situations. Ideally, have like an in-game way to report bad behavior and that sort of thing. For those of people who are in our Discord, we have like a bad language filter and things like that. A lot of us are adults and we know how to behave, but it's just sometimes people don't, and we just to avoid those kind of things. I think it just makes for a better experience. We can all swear on our own personal time.
Absolutely. I can see there's a comment from a mutual friend of ours saying that they had a level 230 visitor back in the day, and that person is asking for something special. What do you think?
Yeah, well, maybe if he does it again and gets to 100, we can talk about it.
Okay, I can see there's some questions that can be answered in the FAQ, so you'll forgive me, guys, if I gloss over those questions. We do have one from Dresinit, which says, "Did Garnet get any sleep last week?"
I think at this point, I'm convinced Garnet is a robot. I'm not sure he's human.
I think so too. Like every time I'm online or in the game, he just appears out of nowhere. Thistro, when do you anticipate there will be a third wave of alpha invites?
As of today, we don't have in mind the next wave. We're doing it based on kind of our needs, not on a set schedule. Obviously, the more people we accept, the more effort it takes for us to manage. So until we're ready to do the next wave, I think that will kind of tie in with PvP. I imagine our next wave will be like a little bit of a bigger wave, but it's all up in the air at this point, so there's no timeline on that.
There's a question about costumes, specifically the King Royal set, but I guess we can talk about costumes generically. Will they still be in the game?
Yes, we fully intend to have costumes. We've already removed the stat bonuses, so if you equip a costume, all those stat bonuses don't get applied to your character. It's truly a costume, just cosmetic. But we will maintain costumes in the game. There'll be some costumes you get in the game. There'll be some costumes you get on the item mall. We'll save some for events, the usual stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. So we know there's going to be a maximum of 2 clients allowed, but how many characters can you create per account?
Yeah, that's a good question. We haven't really settled on a number. And for me personally, and I can't speak for the team, we haven't decided yet. I think I'm okay for people to have a larger number of characters. I know previously it was restricted to maybe like 2 or 3. I think that's a little too restrictive. And since we're trying to encourage people to play on one account, play a few characters the same, I think there's a good chance we'd allow more characters by default on one account.
Nice. There's a question about medals from kings, such as the Grunter King medallion, the Whoopee King medallion. Is this something we're going to keep, or is it something we're going to change or tweak, perhaps?
It's too specific for us to say. We're reworking the mobs, but we're still at the Adventure Plains level. I think once we get to those maps, we'll be able to give concrete answers like that.
Perfect. I'm scrolling down so many questions. There's a question from Buffy. He's a Rose veteran. He's asking, is his Lunar Quest still left in game about gathering energy to keep the portal open? Just curious, laugh out loud.
Yeah, all the Luna quests are still there. We haven't made any changes to the Luna quests.
I think you've answered this one before, but there's over 100 people watching, and it's probably worth touching on again. Will epic weapons stay in the game?
Uniques, epics. We need to take a look at those. It hasn't been high on our priority list. We haven't discussed it at all. So they could stay. They could be removed. It's just not something we've looked at yet.
quite a fun question from Jibe. He's asking if you plan on making a PvP arena even, based on Castle Gears.
You'll have to wait and see what we're working on for Castle Gears.
I can't wait. I really can't wait. One question from Skull Drago. Are you planning on using some kind of invitation key going forwards?
I'm not sure what that means, invitation key.
I'm guessing maybe something to do with Steam, I'm guessing.
Oh, for Steam? Yeah, so we won't be putting Rose back on Steam probably until actual release, maybe sometime in beta, just for technical reasons. And yeah, right now for our alpha testers, we have to manually create accounts, but in the future, everything will be connected to your roseonlinegame.com account. So it might be a good idea to grab that account and make sure you get the username you want and get your email all registered. So.
There's a question very close to my heart about backpack space. I know you've touched on this as well previously. Is there still a plan to increase inventory space?
I think it's a good idea. We don't have a plan for it right now, but I think, you know, a backpack giving you some extra slots could be very interesting. There's just some technical limitations we'd have to overcome to support that. But we're open to ideas like that for sure.
Yep. It's a question from Alan. Will there be more quests in the future? For example, the game gets a little dry on quests around the level 50 mark, and it'd be good to sort of have more quests for those higher levels.
Absolutely. We definitely want to invest in more quests, more storylines, more world building. That's definitely important for us, yeah.
There's a fun comment here from Killsign. It's just a general statement. He says, housing would be fun in Rose. What do you think about having your own house?
Yeah, you know, we want to support, like, to support housing, you have to do, like, technical work to support instancing. And, you know, we want to invest in that. Right now, we have a little bit of other stuff we have to get to, but I think features like that could be really fun, especially for clans and, you know, that sort of thing. So.
Yep. There's a question about the sort of the level compression and how that will sort of look like in sort of on other planets. The question is, if the max level is level 100, will we even be leveling up in Sakuku areas or Olo, or, you know, will we just stay in one place and just, you know, not bother venturing out?
Yeah, so, you know, we haven't designed how we're going to handle the content on the other worlds yet, but once you hit level 100 on Junon, the game's not over, right? You will have more progression elements on other levels. It just won't be necessarily like leveling for XP. There'll be other things to accumulate and progress towards, right? So once you hit level 100 on Junon, doesn't mean you can instantly do end game content on Luna, for example, right? You would have to work towards that in a different manner.
Cool. Another one you've kind of touched on in the past, but I think it's good to sort of have that update with so many here, and that's about premium accounts. Will they still be here? And what do you envision they might look like?
Yeah, we would like a premium option. I think we would appreciate for those who are willing to support us on a more regular basis to have that option. It would definitely look different than the previous iteration. I know that premium used to give you like an XP bonus, drop rate bonus, and things like that. We already removed those from the game. We're just kind of exploring some things. Are there some quality of life things that we can put on premium that won't necessarily be pay to win or game breaking in any way? You know, like remote storage, we still haven't even fully determined if that's unfair or not, but things like that where it might just be more convenient for you, or you get a special vending skin or something like that, right? Those are the kind of things we're looking to put behind premium. But beyond that, you would not get any special perks in the game from a premium account.
Nice, perfect. There's one question here about name color changes, and the example given is if you were level 20, your name might appear in green to other players. Is this something you're thinking about, having different colored names?
It's not something we've talked about at all.
Let me scroll down a little bit here. There's a lot of comments. Hashtag justice for Jeff. What is your take on Jeff and his untimely demise?
We have some plans to bring back Jeff, so just stay tuned. We'll see when we get to it.
Ooh. Right, guys, we'll take maybe a few more questions and then we'll look to wrap up. Let's see here. Oh gosh, it's going too fast. What's the update for gems to use on weapons, gears, and accessories?
We haven't made any changes to gems. We've disabled runes, like in the sense that you cannot craft them anymore. We intend to either get rid of the rune system or make it more in line with the gem system. I think there's some runes that has some interesting stats, but to be honest, we're kind of working on the leveling experience right now, the solo play, skill tree balancing, that sort of thing, and we really haven't spent too much time on items and gems and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Question from Nico. Will there be iRose features added, for example, map changes?
I don't know, map changes. Oh, like bringing back maps and things like that. Um, I don't, I don't necessarily. I'm not sure. I think something that we like, I personally might like to do is bring back the different login screens from different Rose versions. The treehouse, the castle. There's the pyramid one. I think that could be fun. But we haven't gotten to that yet.
Cool, and I think we're nearly there. Mag's got a question about Junon specifically, and are there any plans to further expand Junon as time goes on?
Eventually, yes. I think right now, actually, if you really sit down and map it out, there's actually a ton of maps on Junon, and I think we would probably be better served improving the content there before we start making new maps. That's kind of how we're approaching it.
And one more, so last one, and I think this is actually quite an appropriate one to sort of finish this Q&A on, and that is, how can I become an alpha/beta tester for future waves?
Yeah, so for alpha testing, we closed applications in December, and we have all the responses that people gave us, and we've already, went through them, and we've already pre-approved a set of people, but we don't tell them until we're ready to officially invite them to be an alpha tester. If you didn't get an application in before our deadline, to be fair to everyone who applied, we don't accept any other alpha testers at this time. For beta testing, when time comes, we will kind of do a similar thing for closed beta. When that will be, I can't say right now, but at some point we will have another application process. It won't be there won't be as kind of a formal application that we had as, with that many questions. It'll be just more kind of like a lottery style for the closed beta. And then for open beta, of course, it'll be open to anybody.
Yes, I can't wait. Lazy Penguin, thank you so much for giving up your time to be with us here tonight, or afternoon for you. But thank you so much for being here, answering these questions, and we really do wish you the very best as we go into week 2 and all the work and updates and initiatives that you're working on. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Harry, and we the team appreciates you hosting these, and we're glad to share our news with everybody. So
thank you. See you later. Goodbye.
Bye bye.